So today's video is about expressions of an amount, like $5, and the deal is that expressions of an amount, or a measurement, a percentage, or a fraction may be singular or plural depending on how it's used. So you have to look at other clues to see what we're talking about. So here we have $5 is the price. So the price here is one thing. So $5 here is considered singular because it's one price. So here's your clue, the price. That means singular, so use a verb with an S. But now we have $5 were in the bag. There's no clue here afterward that suggests that now $5 is singular. So now we can count them as $5 as a plural quantity. Look at this. About 2/3 of the audience has been seated. So here's your clue right here, a prepositional phrase, of the audience. Of the audience is singular. Audience is singular here. So now 2/3 here will be singular, so we say has been seated. But down here we have about 2/3 of the guests. So here's your clue right here, of the guests. That's plural, so this fraction, 2/3, will be plural as well, because this prepositional phrase has an object that's plural, unlike audience, which was singular. So now we say have been seated. Here's another one. 32 yards was the distance. So here's your clue, this predicate nominative, the distance. So this is your clue. This is singular, so that means this expression of an amount will also be singular. But here we have 32 yards were measured. Now we don't have anything right here after were that makes it suggest singular, so it defaults to plural because there is no thing like the distance, which is singular here. It just goes right to were measured off. Let's try the exercise. This one is tricky, but probably not as hard as the collective nouns that we did on Thursday. All right. $25 is or are the cost. So right here we have the cost. This is our hint. This is our clue. The cost is one thing, so we're going to count this as singular. That means is, a verb that ends in S. All right, here we have do or does. 6 fluid ounces of water weigh the same. So the same here is a hint here. Well, not really to the same degree here, but they are talking about one weight. That is what's hinted here. The same really isn't a very good clue here. Anyway, because they're talking about one weight, we're going to say does, which is singular, because they're really saying about its weight, which is a singular quantity. All right, 3. Recently, about 5% have or has been the interest rate for money market accounts. So here's your hint right here, the interest rate. The interest rate is one thing. It's not interest rates, it's interest rate. So there's your hint. That's singular. So now 5% here is talking about one interest rate, so that's singular. So we'll say has. And 4. If 4 cents are or is my change, just keep it. So here is my change. My change here is one idea. It's one thing. It may be 4 individual pennies, but my change is one singular amount of money, like a price would also be singular. So we're going to say is. 4 cents is my change. And then 5, 3/4 of a cup were or was all the sugar called for in that recipe. So here we have all the sugar. This is your hint. The recipe only called for one amount, which would be singular. So this is just one amount, so it'll be singular, so we're going to say 3/4 of a cup was, because singular verbs end in S. All right. So on the back side here, we have something else. This is a special rule. Some nouns are plural in form, and plural in form. What plural in form means is that it ends in S. But they're still singular. So nouns, here's a bunch of examples. Like subjects that you study are always singular. Civics, electronics, genetics, linguistics, mathematics, physics. They all end in S, but you're going to treat them as singular. So you would say physics is my favorite study, or my favorite subject, rather. All right. Nouns suggesting a pair of, this is a separate rule. Nouns suggesting a pair of always take plural verbs. This would be like scissors or pants. Even though scissors and pants are singular, sometimes they will always be treated as plural. You would say, the scissors are over there. Even though they're singular, you would never say the scissors is over there. All right, let's look at a few examples. The news from the doctor was disturbing. So here's an example of a noun that ends in S, but is still singular. So news was. Measles. Measles is the name of a disease. It ends in S, but we treat it as singular. Measles is one disease, so measles was the diagnosis. I didn't know that mathematics is your favorite subject. Mathematics, even though it ends in S, it is treated as singular because it's one study. And then here's the other rule. Those pliers have been missing for months. So even though pliers is singular here, we're going to treat it as plural. There's some words that are always treated as plural even if they're singular. So pliers have. Scissors, pants, anything that you would say pair of in front of would be treated as plural. Where are the scissors? So even though scissors is singular, we treat it as plural. It's just weird. We always do that in English. I don't know why. Okay, lastly, that even when plural inform the titles of creative works like books and songs and movies or paintings, like the Potato Eaters, for example, down here, or the United States, or Barnes Industries, even if they look plural, if they're the name of one thing, they're treated as singular. So the Potato Eaters is a painting, for example. All right, let's try a few examples. Number one, this year physics, that ends in S, so you would think plural, but actually physics is the name of one of those words that are plural in form but are singular. So this year physics is my most difficult course. Number two, The Outcasts of Poker Flat, and it's a short story, so that's singular, it's one story, so we're going to say is. Number three, are or is the binoculars in your backpack? Binoculars, we would say pair of binoculars, like scissors or pants or glasses, so we treat this as plural even though it's singular, so we would say are. Plural verbs don't end in S. All right, four, government statistics show or shows how the minimum wage has not kept up with inflation. So government statistics here, this is government statistics ends in S, but it's treated as singular here. It's one of those things above that ends in S but is singular, so we're going to say shows. Government statistics shows. Number five, John's discount shoes have or has been in the same location. So even though shoes ends in S and you might think that it's plural because shoes is plural, it's one store, so it's singular. So John's discounts shoes has been in that same location. All right, go ahead and try 6 through 10 on your own.